Hi John, my name is Carmen, it's good to meet you, and it's going to be a great interview, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Got notes?
Yeah, I've got notes. So, first off, we did meet when we did the evacuation of excavation. Cut that. Excavation.
That was at the back end.
Evacuating the Reno, yeah, I've heard about that story.
Okay, so for me, you were doing all the filming. When did all this start?
Oh my God, what a question.
What year or?
When did it start? What, from the actual?
For you getting into the
filming? Okay,
filming.
my Jesus Christ, I don't want to bore you to tears, but
It's not going to be boring.
right, yeah, my thing, very similar to what Sean was saying. Like, so I went to school at St Robert's in Longside, and it was, it was a Roman Catholic school, and they tried the best. They did the best, but it wasn't. I got to the point where, similar to what Dave was saying, I was a bit of a class clown. I wasn't naughty, but I was very easily distracted, which still stays with me. Now, fidgety, over-distracted, very much in my own world, and I used to, whatever work they set, I would do my own thing. I'd draw in the corner of my book. It was a mess. I was the kid where if somebody did portraits, everyone would look sort of lifelike, and then it'd get to mine, which was like, I've got something, trying to find a way to get it out. And then I kind of lost touch. That went through school. I was a bit of a drawer, and I always saw myself more in the cartoonist illustrator world. And then that led somewhere, that need to be creative. It was very solitary, and I wanted to start collaborating with people. And so then I got into music. So I got myself a little guitar, and it was with my best friends at the time. So we're all gonna be a great band.
So it was a group?
Yeah, there's a few of us. It was people I'd met at college at this point. But then I was the only one who seemed committed to it to an extent. I was like, are we going to really do this? But it was, to them, it was just something that was always a maybe. And then I did that for a while, and I got into smoking quite too much weed, because I can't handle weed, but I did for a number of years. I smoked that, and then I was like, okay, right, this isn't going anywhere. I was in a heavy metal band. My hair was down to my arse by this point. I had a bit, if I showed you a picture of me on my 21st, I had, beard, purple hair. Who the fuck have I become?
So then, how old was you?
I would have been about 21 at this point, and I'd worked all over the place. Like, so going back, like, you'll have to follow the tangents. Going back to school, after I went to St Albans in Gorton, and when I was in 4th year, that merged with 3 other schools around the area, and my parents and a few of us weren't happy with this merger, especially it was going to disrupt their education. And they got behind this movement that, for whatever reason, it meant something big to them. We were just going along with it. Okay, my parents don't want me to go there. So we ended up finishing my 2nd year education in a church hall in Longside, where we had to pay tuition. I think I took about 6 GCSEs. So my relationship with the education system was shot to shit by that point. It was like my school shut down and paying this. I got a couple of GCSEs and whatever. And art was my best one. Yeah, I managed to do art. Everything else was a bit shit. So yeah.
Art interested you. So you were
always. Like I was the kind of kid that cut up library books, because I like the need to do something myself superseded the rules of, no, these books have got to go back. Once I got bitten by an idea, I had to do it. So anyway, that all happened, and I was working. I'd worked retail jobs. I'd been made redundant working at Music Zone and like Virgin and places. And then it was when I was playing football, and I hadn't drawn for a long time. It was when I was playing football. I got an eye injury, and it was like I got a football in the eye, which this sounds really overblown, but I became aware of how precious vision was, because I thought I'd lost sight in one eye, which that kind of made me want to get back into, oh shit, I used to draw really well. I used to be into taking photographs, and I used to be into that. So then I applied to go to Stockport College. So I'm older now, I'm like a mature student.
So how old?
24, 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd been to Zavarian as a, what did they put, because I went to a careers advisor, and Joe, you put it in, you used to put it in a careers advisor, what should you be? I think they put like circus worker was something that came out, or events organiser. And I was like, great, I'm in Longside Market, just, I don't know if the job centre's still there. So then I ended up doing like a sociology course for a couple, and I just fucked around, even worse then, because then, odd jobs, silver service waiter. I used to my worst job was WH Smith's. I shouldn't, please don't put this video up because I used to rob them blind when I worked for them because I smoked.
No, that's definitely going to go on.
Yeah, I had a temporary job. Yeah. So I was still a smoker at the time, and so this is a nice summer job. I've got a job lined up at this other place, and I can't really afford to smoke, but I know which cameras work and which don't, and it's like little bonuses that you take for yourself when you think I'm working like a tank and I'm getting paid fuck all for doing it.
So take us to the eye injury.
The eye injury, this is all in some weird order. So the eye injury made me reconnect with wanting to be creative. So I went to Stockport College, and this woman Joan, who I ended up adoring, she was great, but I threw this madness, like the most insane drawings that I'd started doing. Going a little back, I was working night shifts at the mental health hospital at the time, and I used to spend all my 12-hour shifts drawing, and that was one of the things that reconnected me. They're really naive now, like when I look back at them.
Well, they can't be that naive because they got to be back on the steps.
No, because when I first threw them down, she didn't understand me. And this is when I realised education system, sometimes it depends on who you get at an interview. Yeah. So I was knocked back. I was like, then my whole plan of going back and retrusting. They told me, no, your work isn't to a good enough standard or whatnot. So then I ended up reapplying after a year. So I took that advice on board. Maybe she was right, and then it was coincidentally Dave. Dave here, who's got a walrus moustache, who sometimes at the front desk. Okay. He was the head of the art course at Stockport. Then I got on as a 25-year-old, which was weird. I was surrounded by like 16-year-olds, and I was like, okay, right. I broke down doing that once because I had fuck all money. Right. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was surrounded by kids like gluing buttons onto a A3 piece of paper, and I was like, what am I doing? And they kicked me out once because I went and got pissed at the pub that was nearby. Okay. But yeah, and I got through that. They gave me a little reward for creativity. I did that for 2 years, did the foundation. I thought I was a fine artist illustrator, and I went to MMU as an illustrator, and a year into that, I started documenting my process, and then that's when I became more interested in the camera work. So you finally got your answer now.
End of.
Yeah.
Very good.
That was a good question.
Hello. Right then, John. When you first started to, when I first met you actually, when you went on the Reno dig.
Yeah.
When did you actually start with us, with Linda at all? Was it well before?
Yeah, because there'd been, let me think. It was through Kirsty and the people at Salford. Linda had put out that I think someone she was working with previously couldn't continue on the project or something along those lines. But it was something I'd been waiting for. Like, I wasn't in a funk, but I was making a lot of, and I still do little short experimental things. But it was something I was waiting for somebody like Linda to come along with this kind of thing. So I kind of jumped on it, and we had an initial couple of meetings in which my friend Danny was involved with, and it's weird because you only know, like I only knew like, okay, Linda Brogan, who the hell is this person? What is this? We went onto the website. I remember seeing the We Were Cool stuff and the design of the website. And he started doing a bit of research, and we met. Was it the CAF? The first time I met Linda.
Alexander Park.
Yeah, Alexander Park. And the first time I think I got there, and normally I'm used to working with quite professional environments which are a bit boring. And Linda's very professional in her own way, but I remember seeing her come in. I was waiting at the park, and Linda came across, and I thought, how am I going to approach this? And I think I just said like, where the fuck have you been? And I thought, have I just blown this? And Linda said, I've fucking been on. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be fine.
Yeah, she's real. She's real. Yeah, she's real.
And then from these, like, I can't actually go back and remember my relationship with Linda before all this, because it's totally different now. It was always comfortable, but I can't remember a time when it wasn't. And so from that's my first involvement, and then obviously the bid got knocked back, and then I thought that was it. I actually created a folder.
Free time?
Yeah, I created a folder on my thing with all our emails, like for fuck's sake, I think I named it, and put all the contact in. And then that email came back out of nowhere. Guess what? We've got the funding, and then it was like, I had to organise it at work to get the time off to do it. Same as yourself, you were very similar.
3 weeks.
Yeah, and by the end of that 3 weeks, it was I was supposed to go back on the Monday, and then I just didn't want to. And then it kept
Too
getting
exciting, was it? Too
it just
exciting?
the environment was great, and it was so sad. Like when that fencing went down, and it just became transformed right before your eyes into
I went
something
back
else.
to work again that scene.
Yeah, it was really. So yeah, and obviously the process of the dig was.
Magic.
Yeah, but it's such a learning curve as somebody.
But we
who
had a laugh.
Yeah. Too much of a laugh though.
God,
Sometimes. Yeah. This is.
I couldn't wait for the next day, and the next day was you like that.
I was
like,
if I'd had enough sleep, and because what it kind of turned into, we're like I remember on the first day we were like, what kind of approach do we want to take with this footage? And it is something that I have a tearful conversations with Linda where I wasn't 100% happy with what I managed to capture because I was so into the dig, and then we had to do these. It turned into doing these like try and get more people down, and we'll do these snapshots of the dig where. Now we've developed to this, the camera's just rolling. I wish we'd managed to get there first and caught more of that. And we've got lots of it, but not as well as seeing how everybody communicates. And we just leave it. In the, and the other thing, the funniest thing on the, because we had Harry and Pete as well, like who were both doing their own things now. But some of the interactions were hilarious over the whole process of the dig. And I'd never met, like Harry's face on the night, and Harry's a fucking great guy, and it was just as we were filming as we were doing the big night in the tents, and Linda was getting to Cloud Cuckoo Land by then. She'd had a bath, she'd had a weed, and then she was like, "Are you still fucking filming? Like, I'm not good." And she was in her own world, just enjoying this, and then one of the people who'd come along just saw Harry with his camera, like a big Harry, quite a big lad, and he said, "What the fuck are you filming for?" I was like, "Right, this'll do now." Nobody wants this part of the night filming. But yeah, it was. And
you even filmed a little bits of wood just dropping down at the end, didn't you?
Yeah.
What time was that?
Well, God, fuck knows. But there was one morning when we wanted to capture the sunrise. I always remember that, and we had to get the Uber down, and it was quite a miserable day actually. And I think it was me, Karen and Linda were there, and it was just, we got a bit of a time lapse of it going in, but just those days of getting, like we have got footage of the exposed brick still, but the best bits are the people interacting, and it's so amazing that felt so big, and it was so big, but now it's just the start of something. That's just the bottleneck of something that's going to be far, I don't know, because now it's like we're saying to Lynn before, not to get all trying to be poetic, but it's like we're excavating far much more than just mud and soil now.
True.
It's like it's expanded
We're
to.
excavating souls.
Yeah.
Well said, Carmen.
We're excavating.
Time, folks.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, thank you.